Soul Train line, but you do look spring, summer,
spring,
and Soul Train all at the same time.
Yes. Get with it.
You got some go-go boots on.
So you guys, this week I was listening to this podcast. Shout out to Mocha T. And matter of fact, shout out to Soul Solutions for letting us use their spot. They're amazing partners. Nice. Man, they've been able to help us out with the exotic drink, the amazing gummy bears. But we're going to stay on point. But I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about which was worse, and y'all can help me chime in this. Which is worse, absent father or a toxic mother as far as parenting? What are your thoughts?
I would say what's worse is the absentee person.
Okay, absentee.
Because I would say, man, look, I don't care. I'd rather have my messed up mama around being there than to not be there. Because I've seen kids, man, I worked in a school. I worked in education for 10 years, and 5 years was in elementary school. And I seen situations where kids had to go to foster care and all kind of stuff. And you would think, okay, we're going to take these kids to foster care. It's a nicer environment. But those kids would rather be with their messed up mama in a bad situation with no lights off with their mama than they would with these strangers who got water and food and all of that. And so I understand that. I struggle. I feel like the people you struggle with are the people that you're going to feel connected with anyway.
I think about long-term effects. So I grew up without my father, met my father when I was 14, and I felt like the damage that he caused when I had him in my life was probably worse than the actual reality that he wasn't in my life. So I think that I've seen people that's been through long-term abuse and been traumatized to the point that even if they are in a position where they can get better, the effects of everything and the damage that was caused was worse off than a person actually being absent. So I think that I look at situations like my wife. She never knew her father, but she turned out to be really amazing. And I've seen a lot of people that grew up without a father or without a mother that actually seem like they were better off without that person because her father is, not to put a business, but he's been on drugs. And, I think that her not being exposed to that was actually better than her have to deal with that. So I counter that. What you think,
you put her business out there.
You did kind of put their business out there.
I'm saying there's a lot of
people.
You said
not to put her business out, but yeah,
I mean, because it happens. It's common to have parents like that where you have
My daddy's on crack. Well, I don't know if he is now, but he was when he left our house. He probably see this, but it's true.
And who grew up experiencing that?
Yeah, man. But the 80s got a lot of people.
A lot.
Yeah, it got a lot of people, man. But I feel like my situation was opposite. My dad was around until I was about 11 or 12. Then he was gone. Then I didn't see him again until I was like 23.
Now, do you think he was real impactful in your life? Like, was he?
Yeah, even more than I realized. You might even not realize a lot of stuff, but when I saw him again, like as an adult, I'm like, I'm him. Like everything, all of his mannerisms, stuff he does, I'm just like him. Like I can read his mind. When he talking, I'm like,
that's dope.
I know what he finna say. Even if it's not in my language, he gonna say, like I just sat back one day and listened. And I just wasn't saying nothing. I'm visiting. Yeah. And I'm like, all the jokes I would have cracked, things I would have said, he's saying them. Not in his way, but I'm like, that's what I would say.
Now, what about you two, Doc? Because your family, and your family are really, really tight knit.
I grew up with what I consider as regular parents. Growing up, they seemed regular, but as an adult and as a parent, I see the difference between my kids who I have my youngest son, his dad. Last time we seen him, we was 3. So taking that from. I have a dad that I feel like he's a toxic person.
Okay.
But
so you can probably answer both sides.
Of them, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at
him to not being. It was better for him not to be in his life.
I would have preferred, and he was a messed up individual. He passed away last year. He had got shot, and he had been in a wheelchair, and I was actually booking his transportation to his wound care appointments to make sure he got back and forth. But he hadn't seen my son since he was 3. But I still, out of generosity and his parents not knowing what to do, I did that for them to make sure he got back and forth. But my kids who have their dad, that I feel like he's a toxic person. I feel like he's not genuinely a good person. all around. But as adults, my children have had the opportunity to decide themselves their relationship with their dad. It was never anything that because he wasn't around or he didn't want to be around or because I said, oh, you can't see your kids type thing.
Right.
They have had the opportunity to experience him for who he is.
Right.
Without me being the person that says, oh, your dad was this, that's why you didn't get to be around him. No.
Right.
This kid over here is like, one day I said something, I was talking about my bonus baby and his stepdad, and he was like, that's what I need. I need a dad. And he was probably like 14 when he said it. And I mean, I'm like, well, hell, I don't know how to go out and just find one.
Right.
Because it's just, and it didn't matter that he saw the trials and tribulations that I went through with his siblings' dad.
Yeah.
He still wanted that energy, like a stepdad or something. Yeah. But I didn't provide it. I mean, I feel like I cheated him out of that.
Right.
We cheated him because I didn't tell his dad not to be in his life. His dad,
decided.
He went to prison while I was pregnant. Came out when he was 3.
Right.
Saw him one time and we never saw him again.
So let me ask you this: so do you think it is a person that's not present that causes damage, or is it the resentfulness? Because I know that growing up, like my mom always felt like, well, your dad just didn't want to be around. And so it was always like, dang, well, I wish it. And then seeing my 2 brothers who actually did have their fathers in their life, I felt like I wanted to have that model example because just like it was dope on like holidays to see my brothers go out and I would be chilling with my mom and be asking my mom like, yo, where's my dad at? Why is he not around like that?
Exactly. So we had that agreement that my kids went with their dad every other weekend.
Yeah.
But then we have this other kid that's not his and he made no effort.
Right.
To, a lot of times men will step up and be like, oh, that's my kid's sibling. Yeah. I'm going to step up and be that thing. They wouldn't even remember my baby's name. His name is KD. They called him KJ, JD. And it was insulting to my kids who that their sibling was not included. But the way he felt like my brother and sister are leaving and going for the weekend to do whatever. Yeah. And I'm here with mama.
Right.
So
see, that would have been me.
It was so. My mama stepped up and every weekend she made sure my baby did something that was excluded from me. Yeah. She made sure that he had something else going on that wasn't mama.
That's dope.
Oriented.
That's real dope.
So
I guess that's good on both perspectives. I think that's dope. I think
so it's an either or. It's a tie on the answer of which one is the best. Well, it really depends on
like if the thing about it is
how toxic you are, how toxic the person is on if it's better for them. To be
well, it just depends. Like if it's an absent father or have their father, not even 100% absent. Right. The level of bitter and anger and ups, the way the mother handles it is the biggest factor in it all.
Right. Like, see, I would say the way my mom handled it. My mom never said anything bad about my dad. She wouldn't even let me say anything bad about my dad.
That's good.
Around my little sister. Right. Like, she was like, or even at all. She just like, that's your dad. Like, that was her answer to everything.
So you think she was more accountable in making sure she stewarded the perception that you had towards your parents?
Well, she just made sure that at the end of the day, whatever opinion I came of,
you came up to yourself.
Me.
Right.
She didn't
influence your opinion,
and she would kind of discourage me from having a negative opinion. She would try her best.
See, there's women out here that are so bitter
like, no, that's your dad.
They literally they go through a phase where they're like. I see women who literally will be angry if their child reaches out to them. Like how my kids are grown,
and she always encouraged me.
I see that toxic. I see toxic women that do that. They don't want. They want that man to be excommunicated because of the fact that relationship didn't work. And I'm like, you made a permanent decision with a temporary person, so you got to adjust and deal with
y'all ugly. I don't know, man. Look, it's some of y'all women out there that used to be pretty, and you probably still think you pretty, but you ugly. Yeah. And it ain't even because of your face. It's because your spirit and all that stuff you walking around with,
ugly.
Man. Y'all gotta let that stuff go, man. Some of y'all walking around ugly. Yeah. Yeah, spring clean. Yeah. You gotta watch episode whatever before you know what you're talking about.
So, you gotta detox your energy.
I went through that. When I went through a custody battle with my first daughter, I kept her the first 2 years of her life and went through a custody battle. We weren't really in a just tight relationship. Had a child, broke it off, went to court. And she would tell my daughter a bunch of negative stuff about me. And I could feel it when she would come over, oftentimes to the point to where she would feel bad if she wanted to see me. And then that was something that I had to really deal with, had to go with as far as spending that time with my daughter. But as she became, 10, 11, she started to recognize, like, my dad is trying to go to every game. He's investing. Even when she needed, like, child support, I would give above and beyond just to show, like, man, if I can't be there physically, I want to make sure economically, financially, she's taken care of. But I think it felt even worse for her to come to that position to be like, man, this is a really good, solid guy. And my mom feels this kind of way. And now she had to have this grudge against her mother. Like, why are you lying? What makes you feel this kind of way? And even then, I was still like, yo, don't say nothing.
See, because
negative.
look, the truth always comes out. Like, and that's the reason. And that's when I look back, I realize that's what my mom was doing. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no point in me having to say anything bad about your dad or anything. You'll see.
Right. You'll see for yourself. See, I have the opposite because
like everybody should be.
I'm the cool baby mama. Like, I won't speak bad about you to my kids. But when I say that, my baby daddy, if you walk up to him today and say, I'm T-Dot's homegirl or homeboy.
Yeah.
He will drag the shit out of Tanya.
Really?
He will. He'll tell you how he had to pay me child support, but he'll leave out the part that he took me to court so that he could pay child support. I never pursued it.
He would.
My kids are literally grown, and to this day, and like my kids will come home and tell me.
All right, so it sounds like what we might want to talk about is like why people can't let go.
That's a good one.
Listen,
resentfulness.
Man, sometimes, man.
That's a whole episode for me. I got a whole lot of that.
Everybody ain't meant for you, man. And there ain't no reason to be mad or hateful and spiteful. Right. Yeah. That's bad. Like if a dude still be like, I'm like, dog, you must really still love that person. Like that's a lot of emotion to still like hate. It takes a lot of energy to hate somebody.
It takes a lot to hold on to that, to remember it.
Sometimes in people's mind, though, they think it takes a lot of energy to start over. Sometimes, because I know people that are in relationships is not thriving, is mediocre, they're not fulfilled, it has no passion.
The easy part is being happy because that's the natural. That's to me is natural. I have to literally work at and think about and contemplate and dwell on some darkness to be unhappy.
Hey, but you know what?
Dwell on
happiness is a part of who you are, though.
Let me tell you something. That makes you just like we were talking about earlier. You just a certain kind of person.
Right.
There are other people in the world that are naturally unhappy.
Right.
They need things to make them happy.
Right.
And then once those things go away, they revert back to their normal unhappy self. You're naturally happy. Right. Things happen to you, you become unhappy, and then you revert back to you.
Yeah.
It's other people living on the whole other side of the spectrum.
And then social environments, because some people are just groomed in social environments where it's just super negative. But we should do a whole episode about this because I think this would be really dope.
I think so too.
What's good, man? So what's bottom line? Which one is worse?
Neither one is worse. It's an individual situation type of thing.
It's a tie because you know what? Funky
love
energy.
Them kids.
Yeah.
If you super toxic, you might need to get away.
Yeah.
If you kind of toxic,
no, you shouldn't.
Still be there.
You shouldn't get away. You should work on you. You need to work on you.
That's what it is. If we know you messed up, fix yourself.
Fix yourself for your kids.
And for yourself.
For your kids and for yourself.
Yeah, you count. I guess you count too, but
then mainly, you have 3 generations of weirdos.
Right.
If you don't, they'll be weird. Your grandkids will be weird. Yeah. They'll be toxic and
that'll break those generational curses.
Yeah, we gotta fix that.
Bad
negative, funky energy is played. We got to start being accountable for the lives that we want. We have to create amazing leaders. You got to step up. If you're a great leader, shout out to Mack O, T-Dot for just being great leaders and mentoring those. I think what your mom did was dope, or your grandma did was dope. Taking in the kid that and being able to step up and play that role because that's amazing. Anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you share. Make sure you like. Once again,
subscribe.
Shout out to Soul Solutions for letting us use the spot, for being able to promote.
106
do what we do best. 106 Broadway.
106 Broadway. Hey, look, it's a dope space in here, man. Y'all
it is super dope. I'm in love. I'm in love with this space.
Yeah.
Websites. They do
websites,
audio,
content,
video.
promotions.
I'm doing my next rap album.
Gummy bears. They do.
Gummy bears.
We got whiskey on the table.
Man, I'm telling you, man, they'll change your life. They got gummy bears that's $2 a piece.
My name is Preach.
I'm T-Dot.
I'm Mack O. I got this $60 worth of gummy bears right here. I'm selling these mugs by the ounce.
Guys, listen, I'm
telling y'all. They're
I'm
like,
put my
man, what you
gummy bears.
selling? Is that crack? Nah, these gummy bears, fool. They got weed in them? Nope, they just gummy
They
bears.
just gummy
It's
bears.
really a special kind of sugar from like Peru.
Every single time I see a
It's-
gummy bear now, I be thinking it's CBD.
Hey, it's Peruvian sugar.
That's what he thought he was gonna say that.
Listen, it was Peruvian
He was gonna tell
sugar.
us it was some
little
special gummy bears.
Some
I'm
little
like,
virgin girls picked all the leaves and shook all the sugar off and got it hand by hand and crushed the leaves with their toe.
Special kind of gummy
Yes,
bears.
it's special. A special kind of goat that got black hair, boo boo, to fertilize the land.
Now I don't want the damn gummy bears.
For these gummy bears.
He said black hair boo boo.
No, you know it's special
But it's
fertilizer.
special. Straight out the crack of a unicorn.
Hey, you know the most expensive coffee in the world come out of a cat's ass.
It's a lot of.
I didn't make that up.
You don't even know about.
I know. See, I think
Okay,
I
so we
just
can-
I just look like this.
All right.